record. 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello, hello. This is Ignacy and Portal Games.
And this is Stephen Bonacore, the Podfather of gaming. You are listening to Board Games Insider, episode 237. We're recording this June 12th, 2022. Board Games Insider is a proud member of the Dice Tower Network. And I'm at Origins. Tom Vassell is not. Ignacy, who is cooler? Tell me.
I never had doubts that you are cooler. Like Origins is just like a friction of all the arguments and that you are the cooler, obviously.
Obviously.
But I'm watching. Obviously, staying here in Poland. I'm on Facebook, on Twitter, seeing all the messages of all the people I know, and I miss just posting how you guys enjoy the show, how you missed each other, but now you are hanging out. I missed you, and I'm not hanging out. I'm stuck here in Poland. But in 4 weeks, I'll be hanging out with you guys as well. So yes, I'm happy for you. It looks like it's amazing, amazing show, and I'm gonna coming there.
And we're gonna be talking a lot more about Origins in a minute, and we're gonna talk about Ignacy's trip and interesting things that we're gonna schedule when he's here. We'll wait for the end of the show. We're gonna keep you in suspense there. By the way, you notice my voice is completely shot, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But in the meantime, Ignacy, what is happening over at Portal Games?
I just wanted to mention that your voice is sponsored by Origins TV, I guess.
My voice.
So many interviews you did.
That's about right. What's going on?
At Portal Games, we released Gutenberg. Now it's officially released. I see on Facebook groups many people playing the game and prizing the game, and I'm very, very grateful for you. Every single time in this podcast, when we release something, we mention the testimonials of you manifesting the love to the game, helping your publisher so much. So I appreciate every one of you who bought the game, who tried the game, and then said the kind things about the game on the social media. So we appreciate that. And we were at the UK Game Expo last week. I guess we'll cover a little bit of that in the news section, but basically it was super successful for us. Gutenberg was sold out. So we were very happy, pre-released, super successful. And now the game is released in America and UK. I want to make it very clear because it may be confusing for Portal Games fans. We own rights only for the English version of the game. So usually when Portal Games releases a title, it is released in France, Spain, Germany, blah, 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 all the different countries. Here, Portal Games purchased the rights for the English version of the game. So you can buy Portal Games version in America, you can buy Portal Games version in UK, I guess in New Zealand, Australia, all the different countries. But you should not expect the German edition from Portal Games, French edition, etc., etc. So this was happening. My brag of the week, we never did it, but it is so cool that I'm sharing it. So we never talk precisely about the numbers, about the print runs, etc., etc. But with the Gutenberg, we are so happy. On the day 00, on the day 1, in the first week of the release, we sold out half of the whole print run. Which is super awesome. First feedback from the distribution, and some of the retailers are buying directly from us. So the first opening is absolutely amazing. Obviously, now it's time for you customers to buy it from the retailers, so retailers will restock. So you want to restock. But the first week, we are in a very, very good mood. The Granna, the manufacturer of the game, was informed that maybe we will need a reprint, maybe the game will be super successful, so they're waiting for the more data from America. And so once again, thanks everyone of you who pre-ordered the game, first of all, from Portal Games website, and then who went to your local game stores, who bought the game, and is now playing. So Gutenberg, very, very happy news from Portal. And for the section pre-orders and street dates, just the streets. We just released 2 games, Batman Everybody Lies, and Gutenberg. New pre-orders will be very, very soon when we will open the pre-orders for Gen Con. But this is what we are around preparing. So apparently in 2 or 3 weeks, we will be able to start pre-orders for Gen Con and announce a couple of new things. Speaking of Gen Con, Steven knows my pain, and you, our listeners, know the same pain from our reports. We are going to fly in our Gen Con release. This is due to, of course, all the delays, all the problems in China. So we mentioned this many times that when you are at Gen Con and when you are a publisher, you have to have your release. And if there is a delay at the manufacturer, if there's any problem, you have to sacrifice a lot of money to bring this product to the show by plane. So this is happening. So good news for you guys. There is Brazil, as promised. There is Brazil, the release of the game at Gen Con. And the bad news for Ignacy is going to pay for that.
So, we've been talking about container apocalypse, right? The crazy, you can't get a container, you can't load a container, you can't, then the container's on a ship and it gets to a port and it's got to wait and sit there out bobbing in the ocean until they have a, just crazy. We haven't talked about air freighting things. And and the answer is yes, but I don't know how much the cost of that has gone up. And I always like to say, when you air freight something, it's more expensive than giving it a first class seat on the aircraft and going like 10,000 miles. It's ridiculously expensive. So I can't even imagine what your pallet of games is going to cost. And maybe you're even sending more than one pallet, which is crazy.
Yeah. So my message is that we are not bringing too much of this product for the mentioned reasons. And so we'll talk more about the Brazil. I confirmed the pre-release at the Gen Con, but the street day will be in September. So if you are going to be at Gen Con, you better use our pre-orders, but this is coming in upcoming weeks. I just wanted to share my pain with you because it will be very, very painful for upcoming weeks to see these invoices for transport. And basically, yes, the whole operation Ignacy in America is getting in more details. As we mentioned in the past episodes, I will be at the Dice Tower Con. So if you want to meet me, the Dice Tower East, it is the name of the con right now. The Dice Tower East, meet me there. I'm flying from Poland. I will be on jet lag. So bring me cookies and some, I don't know, coffee or whatever. And then I'm staying in America for 4 weeks. I'll be listing different cities that I'm going to visit. I'll be in Dallas, I'll be in Atlanta, I'll be in Nashville, a couple of different cities. And I'm going to meet with you, with our fans and listeners. So I will mention the exact dates and places where you can meet me in upcoming episodes of Board Games Insider. And one more thing about the Dice Tower East. On Sunday, I consider visiting the place that Steven is marketing very, very well, that is the Kennedy Space Center. I talked with my son, he said that this sounds super, super cool. So we are considering with my son coming to, on Sunday, last day of the Dice Tower Con, to this amazing location. So if any of you, our listeners, is at the Dice Tower East and was never there and want to visit with me, hang out with me, drop me an email at portal@portalgames.pl and we can figure out how to get there, and we can do like a geeks visiting Kennedy Space Center and spend there. I don't know how long it takes to visit the place. I guess we could spend there 2 weeks.
It's an all-day thing. You should get there at the opening. Depending on how much you look at like each thing, right? How many pictures you take, how many of the presentations you go and see. I mean, you can speed through all the things and you can be out in 2 hours. But when I go, I look at the whole thing again, and they just opened, and they will have opened the new exhibit called Gateway that I talked about last time.
Yeah.
So
that was the final argument that convinced me that I need to go there. So, dear listener, if you have never been there, maybe you can go there with Ignacy. If you're at the Dice Tower East, drop me an email, and it's gonna be fun. And this is what's going to happen. Gutenberg, amazing release, very, very happy preparation for Gen Con, paying some stupid invoices for flying product over the seas. Fun stuff is happening. What's happening at Origins?
What's happening with the Podfather of Gaming? The first thing before we get into Origins, I made a huge announcement this week.
My wife saw it. My wife saw it, and I started crying.
So my challenge of the week, I bring back the challenge of the week that I used to say, Ignacy says it sometimes. The challenge of the week is you need to go and look at what I posted and the event that I'm going to run. It's called Podfather the Cruise. We're going on a cruise together. January 7th through 15th, 2023. So you got like 8-9 months to plan this out, whatever that comes out there. Check it out. Where, of course, I put it on the Podfather of Gaming page and the Podfather of Gaming group, which you can join if you haven't already and see the silliness that goes on there. But pinned at the top is Podfather the Cruise, and maybe the best of all, this is a charity cruise. I'm paying for my own suite. Normally, right? You get free suites. free cabins when you organize these things. I'm not doing that. I'm going to be paying for my own suite, and we're going to even have a little party there at different points. It's for charity. All the net proceeds of what we get out of this goes to charity. 8 nights. We're going all the way from Fort Lauderdale to South America. Curacao and Aruba are 2 islands off the coast of Venezuela. We're going all the way down to South America. I've never been to South America. It's one of my bucket list things, right? I want to get to all the continents at some point. I can now scratch off South America after we do this cruise. So please, it's going to be, sure, it's going to be a gaming cruise, but it's not going to be like the Dice Tower cruise or like BGG at Sea, because we're not having a library there, right? I'm going to bring lots of games because, right, I'm going to put them in my car and I'm going to bring them there. It's going to be easy. Everyone will bring some games. We'll leave them in the conference center, just like the other cruises do. We'll have access to the conference center, and people can come and play the games that we bring with us. We're going to create a geek list on BGG so we can track the games, all that kind of good stuff. If you are inclined at all to go on a cruise, check this out. And here's maybe the coolest thing for those who could do it. You could literally get off of my cruise, take a $20 Uber ride down to Miami. They're very close, those 2 cities, and jump on the Dice Tower cruise, because the cruises are going to be next to each other. I can't go on Dice Tower cruise. I decided to run my own cruise. How about that? But mine, I am doing it for charity. No profits will be made by yours truly, the Podfather of Gaming. Come over to the group on Facebook, the Podfather of Gaming group. Check out what we're posting there about the cruise and about all the other things. Meanwhile, about gaming, I did play my Foundations of Rome with Paula. I won by 4 points. It was so much fun. I'm going to love this game forever. It's going to hit the table a lot. So, and I can't wait to explore all of the different expansions that come, with the game, with, the whatever level that I ended up backing it at. It comes with a lot of very simple stuff when you just get the base, and then you just complicate it by adding in the monuments. You complicate it by adding in there's like events or something like that. You get a little more with trading. You can keep going and making this game even bigger and bigger. And I have it on good knowledge that they will be kickstarting again, so people can, if they didn't get it, they can get it soon. When they put this out there, they can back it then, because he has no more copies. He brought like a bunch of copies here, and now they're like out of copies completely. They're going to be adding some more content down the road too. What else is going on? Let's talk about Origins. As we said, I am here co-hosting Origins TV. So this voice is sponsored by Origins TV. And what is it? It's being piped around the convention center. So people keep coming up to me saying like, yeah, man, you were on TV over there, and you were on TV again. And it's been a lot of fun. Myself and B Zelda, a very cool person on the RPG content creation side. We've made a great team, because she's got that same crazy energy like I have. She's a much younger person, but this great perspective from the RPG side of content creation, and myself, of course, on the board gaming side. Also doing it with Chris Volpe, who is the organizer of this convention called GDEX. Origins is now Origins plus GDEX, and GDEX is an e-gaming convention. So there's actually a double convention here. So if you have both itches in you, if you do a lot of electronic gaming, when you come to Origins, you can now see and be immersed in the electronic gaming as well as the board gaming side of our hobby. It's been a fantastic time here doing this. I think things are coming out well. I think the people that I'm talking to, the smallest of the small companies, they don't even have a game out. Some of them, they've got this, maybe they're going to be getting a Kickstarter going at the end of the year kind of thing, but they're showing it off, publicizing, taking people's email addresses and stuff like that. And then up to the biggest companies, of course, I'm having a great time talking to my friends in the industry and asking about the problems that they're having too, as well as showing off their releases. It's been a great experience. Origins is back with a vengeance. I don't know what the total number here is, but everybody's having a good time. I think it's going to be lighter than they had hoped, but we're still, well over 10,000 people. It's not the 20,000 that we ended with in 2019 pre-pandemic, but they're well over 10. And, obviously we're still in a pandemic mode here. So hopefully they will grow this back to where it was. I have no doubt in my mind that will happen. As for my travels, as as Ignacy said, Dice Tower East is coming up in just a couple of weeks. After you hear this, we're gonna be hanging out together, Ignacy and I want to hang out with all of you out there, and we'll talk about something special for the Board Games Insider fans at the end of the show. After that, I basically have 2 days at home, and I run to get on a plane to go to Galveston, Texas, to get on BGG at Sea. Right, that's the Board Game Geek cruise. I go there. We cruise for a week. It's going to be amazing, of course. Hope to see some of you there. Then Paula flies home, and I fly to Pittsburgh-ish area for the WBC, the World Board Gaming Championships. Haven't been there now in 7 years, probably more, maybe with COVID. It's just a great time. My New Jersey friends, they come in and we play games for almost a week there. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then I fly directly from there to Gen Con, and I'll meet up with Ignacy again and all of you guys, and then I collapse after that. So basically, I'm not home for more than a couple of days in all of July. That's crazy. The first week, 4th of July, Independence Day weekend, I'll be there, and then a couple of days here, and that's it.
Well, what about the chance that there's an Airbnb for the Podfather house, and you can just rent it for your fans? You're not at home anyway.
I'm not there, so I'll just
pay bills. Yeah.
So it'll help pay off all the debts.
So many of our listeners would love to see these doors that we were listening about. They would see the kitchen that you were mentioning. Like, we would love to visit. Where you are not there.
I'm not posting my address. Oh my goodness. Well, that's what's going on here. I think let's get over to the event deck. Ignacy, what do you want to say first?
I don't know if our listeners remember, but we need to mention that you failed us. I have this Slavic message for you. You forgot about your beloved podcast, and we were not nominated for Board Games Insider this year.
We also have to do a better job of pushing this again, because we got the nomination the year before. So we gotta motivate our listeners. We want to be a Golden Geek nomination at least, if not a winner.
I'm saying it is your fault, listeners. Steven is saying that it's our fault, listeners. So yeah, we will debate it.
I don't know that you want to turn the listeners off by telling them it's their fault, Ignacy. I'm just saying, I could be wrong on that. So interesting news. The people that created the Board Game Cafe, Snakes and Lattes, adding 2 new U.S. locations, bringing total stores for the Board Game Bar and Cafe chain to 9. Not bad. Snakes and Lattes has opened 2 new U.S. locations, bringing the count for the Board Game Bar and Cafe chain to 9, the company announced. The 2 new locations are in Glendale, California, and Provo, Utah. Interesting. The Provo store was opened from the acquisition of Good Move Cafe, which will continue to operate under its legacy name, given the influence of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons, in the area, the company said. So they're going to be operating it under both names, it sounds like. I mean, the original name, plus it's going to be a Snakes and Lattes store as well. The Glendale store is being converted from the acquisition of Gamehouse via ownership of the outstanding SBA loan. So, I mean, this is really good to see, and obviously is a testament that, retailers are coming back. They're doing better right now.
Yeah, this is a very good news, and I was in Canada in St. Letters, and it was absolutely amazing location. I'm a little bit confused on Twitter, but I can't find it right now. I read the statement that they are not coming back to their old location. So maybe this is the case that they are growing in America, but there was some issues in Canada, but I cannot find it right now. Maybe I will prepare for the next week. But generally speaking, we see the same trend here in Poland. So if I can report, just this week, we had a new pub dedicated for board games opened in the Łódź, one of the biggest cities in Poland, and is very well discussed here in social media this weekend. And last month, there was a new board game pub open in my city, my home city, Gliwice. So this is like seriously very interesting and very great trend to promote board gaming, so people can go buy a beer, buy a coffee, buy a cake, and play board games. And we mentioned this many times in the previous years that this may be the direction for our hobby. Like maybe retailers will not only be retailers, but they are providing like a space to hang out with a great condition. So yes, Snake and Lattice, kudos. I love the brand, so good luck.
Excellent. So in the biggest of the big news, Hasbro board of directors are in a battle. Which group is going to control Hasbro and this huge publicly traded company? So two long-term Hasbro shareholders with significant stakes are urging Hasbro to accept changes to its board proposed by activist investor AltaFox. That's a fund, with one saying it will vote for the AltaFox slate of 3 directors, according to Reuters. Boston Partners, which owns 2.26% of Hasbro's stock, urged Hasbro to settle its dispute with AltaFox and said it will vote for the AltaFox slate of directors, according to the report. Anchor Capital, which owns 0.3% of Hasbro, said the board should add shareholder-supported board members, but did not say how it would vote. So in essence, what's going on here, Ignacy, he has just had his computer crash. So we're going to wait here to see if he can come back on. Look who's back. So let's get back to the audio again. So Ignacy here, what's happening is that people with a lot of stock who want to see changes in the way Hasbro is operating are trying to put their people on the board of directors. So if they get that to happen, they'll get more say in the strategic nature of how Hasbro operates. And specifically, and why is this important to us, Hasbro, this mass market company? Because this group wants to see the Wizards of the Coast and digital division spun off to its own company. So all of a sudden, we might see, if this happens, we might see Wizards of the Coast as a publicly traded company that you can go invest in. I mean, I think this is cool, and certainly Wizards of the Coast is profitable beyond anything. So I think this is exciting news.
Because I was a little bit lost during this news. So I don't know exactly what you just said before, but I have a news that says Hasbro defeats board challenge from AltaFox. Shareholders voted to re-elect the 13 directors to Hasbro board of directors. So my news is more new than your news?
Wait, say that again. So
shareholders voted to re-elect the 13 directors to Hasbro board of directors. Hasbro announced that the preliminary results at the 2022 annual meeting of shareholders indicated they voted to re-elect the 13 directors to Hasbro board.
Wow, how did you get this news that we don't have here in the show notes?
From my employee who is playing Magic every single day, and he is very into all Magic the Gathering news.
Look at this. So yes, your news is even better and more up to date. It sounds like. So it sounds like the whole thing is now off the table. Look at that. So
look at that. I'm
Ignacy,
now we are doing it right now on the go. Look at this, and now Steven can read it again with the proper English.
Oh, that's very interesting that you guys found that. Yeah, Hasbro.
Yeah, so once again, to give the context, my employee loves Magic the Gathering. He always put me some interesting Magic the Gathering news. And this one is a business, but it shows that even the Magic the Gathering players are looking and paying attention to what's happening with the Wizards.
That is kind of amazing, right? Rabid fans of Magic and Wizards in general are finding the business news, and they were so interested to hear about this. So okay, so essentially what I said was true, but now the battle is over, and the people who were trying to get elected, to try to get onto that board, have failed. And therefore, probably this is not going to change that course. We're not going to see that spinoff now, sadly. And I'll read this one little thing here. AltaFox has again decided to change course on its campaign, narrowing it to spinoff expert Marcelo Fisher. Just days before the scheduled annual meeting vote, shareholders should question the lack of focus in AltaVista's campaign and lack of clarity around its thesis, which reflects a highly inconsistent and fundamentally weak set of conclusions underlying its campaign. At the end of the day, it is clear that Alta Fox is looking for a win for Alta Fox and not for all shareholders, Hasbro shareholders. That was a quote from Hasbro. They really came down hard on these guys, and they beat them at their own game. I kind of wanted them to win because I wanted to see a separate entity for Wizards of the Coast. We will not see that now, it looks like. Ignacy, I guess we'll move on.
Yeah, because we have finally a news about the game, not the business stuff, but the game, and the gamers love about games. So, and yeah, this is a pretty big one.
And this is a big one. This one, it's Ares Games, who make War of the Ring, my #1 game that I always love to talk about. They have announced, they're teasing the whole thing, that they are going to be doing War of the Ring, the card game, a new spinoff in the line. So Ares Games teased War of the Ring, the card game, a new spinoff game from the board game series. War of the Ring, the card game, is an asymmetric game that will be part of the War of the Ring game line. War of the Ring was originally created by Italian game designers Roberto Di Meglio, Francesco Nepitello, and Marco Maggi, which later came under the Ares banner in 2021. The details of the card game are sparse, but it was designed by Ian Brody, a new designer, not part of the group, who also designed Quartermaster General. So that's a pretty big game, a war type game. More details on this game will unveil to the public for the first time at the UK Games Expo on June 4th, which has just ended. And they had the game there, pre-production copies. They play tested it. People were going crazy in the Facebook group, the official War of the Ring Facebook group, about this card game. I posted, take my money. I want this game the moment it comes out. It's a very exciting development. Allegedly, the game will play multiplayer very easily, and it will play in 2 hours and explained in like 15 minutes. So, I mean, we're talking about something that is really going to be an interesting combination to play an epic battle like War of the Ring in a decent compressed amount of time with not tremendous amount of rules that boggle the mind every time you want to try to play it.
With this game, I had all the gamers' phases involved. So first, when I saw the announcement, I said, I have my War of the Ring, the board game. I love my War of the Ring board game. I don't need anything else. I am not interested. Then I saw the pictures and artwork on this game, and I was like, okay, so I don't need it because I love my board game, but I will buy it just for the artwork, so I will have it in my collection because I'm a huge nerd. And then there was a third phase when I saw the feedback from the players who played at UK Game Expo and were raving about the game. I said, oh, whatever, I need this another card game because I love it. So yes, I'm going to buy it. A brilliant job from the publisher to create this hype like in a few days. Like they just announced, we have this card game, we will show it at UK Game Expo. All the geeks at UK Game Expo went to the booth to check it out. They played it, they posted the raving reviews, and now we all fans of the Lord of the Rings obviously will buy this game. Master marketing, and yes.
Yeah, I couldn't be more excited about this announcement, for all the things I just said. So stay tuned. Oh, I have a related announcement. Of course I reached out to Roberto. He's a good friend, Roberto Di Meglio, one of the designers of the original. I reached out to him and I said, you're going to have it here at Origins? And he's like, no, we couldn't do it. We couldn't train the team. It didn't work out. He goes, but I'll have it at Gen Con to show off. And I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see it. He goes, I want to play with you. So we're going to play. I'm going to get a special playthrough of War of the Ring, the card game, at Gen Con. I can't wait. I think the release is scheduled hopefully for Essen though, which I'll pick it up.
Yep.
Absolutely. So on our last bit of news that we'll touch on is big. It's the Spiel Jahres, the biggest award, the only true award we talk about that has impact on sales figures for a company. And the 2022 Spiel Jahres nominations have been announced, plus the Kennerspiel Jahres and the Kinderspiel Jahres. And the nominees are, for the Spiel Jahres, the game of the year, this is the family weight game of the year, Cascadia by Randy Flynn, published by AEG Flat Out. Scout by Kai Kanjino, published by Oink Games, and Top 10 by Orlean Pichot and published by Cocktail Games. Let's talk about those for a second. Love Cascadia. It was actually my #1 game of last year. It's a area control, tile placement. It looks beautiful. It's simple. It definitely can be played on the family weight. So I think that's a great choice. And Scout was introduced to me by Corey Thompson, who literally bought about 70 copies. Oh, Ignacy. We'll be right back again. So Cascadia, I mean, this is a great slate of games. Cascadia was my #1 game last year. Beautiful area control, tile placement game. Just looks amazing and great replayability. I completely suck at it, but it's such a good game. And Scout is, the one game that I brought from home is Scout. I'm showing it now on YouTube. I only brought this game, just to have in my pocket to play if I, was, in the bar or something like that. Love it. Corey Thompson, I think, may be responsible for the popularity of this game. He bought like about 70 or 100 copies out of Japan and just gave it to his friends. It was all over the gathering of friends. Seriously, this game is fantastic. Card shedding game. I had not played Top 10 yet, but I've heard good things about it as well. So fantastic stuff.
And what is amazing about this award, and this is every single year, that the whole industry and all the geeks are paying attention. So now everybody's checking. I haven't played this game. I need to buy this game. I need to, because we all we want to know these games right now. And I myself, we will mention the Spiel Awards in a moment. And exactly when I was in France and there was a Living Forest nominated, I haven't played it yet. I was okay. I need to play it now because it's nominated for the Spiel Awards, and I want to know what's interesting in this game. So in every single year, this German jury makes people discover games, because when they put something on their list, you want to know it and you want to check it out, correct?
Absolutely. And they also put recommended games on the list as well, which are interesting. And I played some of these. 7 Wonders Architects by Anton Bowser, incredible game. Echoes the Dancer, Magic Rabbit, My Gold Mine, So Clover, which is so good. I love So Clover, party game. Fantastic. And Trek 12 Himalayas. So those are on the recommended list. They can't win, but they're also excellent games, they're saying. And then the nominations for the Kenner Spiel des Jahres. This is the bigger games. These are the expert games, or the connoisseurs. It's various translations to that word, but these are the expert games. And the winners of the nominations here are Cryptid by Hal Duncan and Ruth Viviers, published by Osprey Games. Dune Imperium by Paul Denham, published by Dire Wolf, and Living Forest by Aske Christensen, published by Pegasus Spiele. Now I have played 2 of these. I played Cryptid, excellent. I played Dune Imperium, which I wasn't as fond of, but I certainly understand the popularity of that very, very good game. Now, Ignacy, have you touched these games? You played these games, right? Or
yes,
2 of them?
Yes.
2 of them, right?
Yes. But I want to mention something, the most important for our listeners. In January, I predicted that the other game will be nominated. And this time I was wrong. And Steven scored a point.
Which one? Which did you predict?
I predicted that the name was, what was the name for the game? Savannah Park. I said the Savannah Park will be nominated for the Spiel des Jahres, and it didn't happen.
Point
and I lost.
Bonacor.
Yes, so I'm very disappointed this year for this selection.
The recommended games, there were 3 only on their recommended list, and they're very, very good. Ark Nova, which is all over the place, huge buzz on Ark Nova, by Matthias Wiggy, published by Furland Spiele, and also in the US by Capstone, Cora, and Witchstone, which is another game that was on my top 10 of last year. I love it. It's a nice medium weight Euro that plays like a Stefan Feld game, but it's designed by, amazingly enough, Rainer Knizia and a co-designer, which I can't remember his, and Martino Chiacchiaveria and Rainer Knizia. So fantastic. Finally, nominations for Kinder. These are children's games. These are for young people. Also clever by Wolfgang Warsch. So he did a roll and write for kids. Very nice. With Quacks and Company to Quellenberg. Huh. I don't know this one. It's in the line, obviously, of Quacks of Quellenberg. Yeah. That's a very interesting one. Also by Wolfgang Warsch. You think this guy is good? You think this guy's on fire?
I think he's smart because he was nominated for this game for the Spiel Awards a few years back, and now he made a child version, and he's named it again. Like he break the system. Smart.
He's so smart. And Zauderberg, which I do not know. Oh, is this the one? Ooh, is this the one that plays with the little marbles? I think it is. And I played it. I actually interviewed Amigo. I interviewed Alex Yeager at the show. I just didn't remember the name. This is the game I played. It is adorable. It is so cute. And it can be played by adults too. So check this one out. I'm sure there'll be an English publisher of this. Oh, Amigo in the US. I guess they're calling it the same name, maybe even so, because they showed it to me because they were showing off the fact that they were nominated, which is really kind of cool.
I'm checking the internet right now, and yes, there are marbles in this game. So you might be right.
Marbles and witches. The little marbles are going down to the bottom and they're banging into the witches. It's a really cute gravity-based game. And quickly recommended games in this category: the Villa of Vampires, Froish, Golden Egg, and Honey. Really good. I think it was a great slate. I was really happy that I knew and played as many of the games this year. I usually don't get to play many of these games until after, but it's a good slate of games, Ignacy. Don't you think so?
Yep. Yeah. Every single year they know their craft, they know what to promote, they know which games to recommend, and they always push a little bit of the boundaries to bring these some new mechanism like the encrypted deduction to the audience, to the mass market audience. Because once again, to remind everyone, these games will be bought by the average people in Germany to the mass market audience, and they will push boundaries of what they know about gaming.
Absolutely. So listen, everybody, we have some quote unquote bad news here. I mean, for you guys and listening or watching us, we're having technical issues here. The people watching us know this due to the mastery of Matthew Jude and his beautiful audio editing. You won't know this, but since we're having these technical issues, it's all Ignacy's fault, by the way. I just want to point that out. It's not the Podfather's fault. We are going to now shorten the episode, sadly, to just go right to the final scoring without even reading all the final scoring. We're just going to go there, and we're going to do a little announcement that I promised you we'd do. We'll come back with a regular episode next week when I'm back in New Jersey, and Ignacy goes in New Jersey, Florida, and Ignacy gets a real computer that he's in his office and doing it. So
I want to mention that I was not commenting this Steven comment because it was right, true. And I am very, very sorry for all of this that happened.
It's not a problem, my friend. It's never a problem. But let's get to the final scoring. All right, the abbreviated final scoring, which is only going to have the special thing at the end of the show, the special news. Board Games Insider, the meetup, Saturday at noon, right outside the main tower at the Carib. We'll all hang out together. Ignacy and I, hopefully we'll play Crokinole if I remember to bring my Crokinole board.
Oh, I will remind you. I will remind you because
so
I
unfair.
Need to be a running champion again.
It's so unfair. He plays all the time. I play every time I see him. That's about it. So hopefully I beat him once. That's all I care about. So we're going to have this meetup for you guys. I hope some of our listeners, all of our listeners that'll be there will attend. We'll remind you again on the next one. And hopefully we'll tell some people, there that we're going to be doing this. It's at Dice Tower East at the Carib, the hotel of the convention. We'll do it right outside the main tower. Anybody who's been there before knows it. You'll see Ignacy and I and people around. And I will go out. We'll go get pizza and sodas and beer, and I'll bring a Crokinole board to be made fun of by Ignacy. How's that? I think it's gonna be fun. It's always great. Yeah. Noon Saturday.
They will find us easy because there will be a crowd of people watching this super match. So there'll be if you see a crowded space in the hotel, this is us playing Crokinole.
That's great. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening or watching, and we'll see you next time with a full episode.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.